Okay, let's do the Kumas Aleph, this week's Parshas Yisro. So a few months ago, my wife was in the hospital for a few weeks, and I took my kids to the hospital for Shabbosam, for 2 Shabbosam. So the second week before I came, my wife told me there's a doctor that walks the floors. She happens to be Muslim, and she heard that I'm coming. She heard that there is a Shabbos Seder gonna be. My wife told her, so she said she wants to witness the Shabbos Seder. So we came, we were there Shabbos morning, and she was walking the floors. So we took the opportunity, and I set up the table, and I poured a bechir with wine that I snuck into the hospital, and I raised the cup, and I want to make Kiddush. And she asks me, okay, I want to see what you're doing, but what are you about to do? That stunned me. I do this every single Shabbos. I rarely miss the opportunity to make Kiddush on wine. And what am I doing? What is Kiddush? So I was quiet, and she asked me, oh, what did I do wrong? I said, no, I have to think. So it took me 2 minutes, and I explained like this. When a chosan and kala, groom and bride, are under the chuppah, the groom extends his hand and says, with a ring on his finger, he says, Harai at mekedesh esli b'tabat zi, kedas Moshe v'Yisro, you're now going to be mekudesh. What does mekudesh mean? Mekudesh for me. Kedesh esli. How is she mekudesh to him? So mekudesh, I said, is elevated. So it's not the real definition of mekudesh. It's separated. She's separated from all the other women. But I'm saying elevated in the sense of holiness, of elevated from other things, separated in the sense of elevated. I don't know if that makes sense. And the same thing is Shabbos. Shabbos is different from all the other weeks, all the other days of the week. We elevate Shabbos, we separate Shabbos, and we raise our cup of wine to show wine is the most chashav drink that we have, and this is how we elevate Shabbos, we separate Shabbos from all the other days of the week. So what does that have to do with this week's Parsha? Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu to tell Klal Yisro they should v'kidashtam v'chibsisem loisam. 2 things. Before Matan Torah, they have to be mekudesh, and they also have to wash their clothing. So number 1, what does v'kidashtam mean? So we have to understand that we are comprised of something very special. We are Jewish, and that's a core identity that we have. Every Jewish person is born with a soul, a slice of Hashem, and we're mekudesh, we're separated, we're elevated, and in order to be able to be makabel the Torah, we have to be elevated. We have to understand that we're different. Just to do rules and to do mitzvahs and not do avirus, that's robotic, that's not understanding that we are innately, internally, our identity is that we are separated, we're elevated, we're unique, we're different, and that's how we could get the Torah. The second thing we have to do is wash out our clothing. So it's very interesting how this works. Why do we have to wash out our clothing before Matan Torah? So every person is born with an identity, a unique identity that makes me separated, that makes me unique from all the other people around me. And when I go through life, in my younger years, I adapt based on my childhood, based on things that are happening around me, the nurture that I get. I adapt certain levushim, certain clothing, certain klipos that I apply to myself, my outer self, and I identify with that. I'm a jexter, I am a technician, I'm a doctor, a lawyer, a therapist, a rabbi. All those things are external factors that make me feel safe. Those are levushim. Those are not the true identity of me. So a person has to find out who they are internally, and then they could feed their identity with healthy things. So there's unhealthy ways to feed our identity. The identity could be fed through levushim, through not accurate explanations or interpretations of our identity. And those in the Torah are called loiseses, things that we should refrain from doing. And then there are essays, things that we should do, positive commandments, and those are ways to feed our identity in a healthy manner. This topic, this concept was actually composed and founded by my wife, and she taught me this method. It's called the PIN modality, which is personal identity navigation, the way a person could identify themselves, who they are, and navigate their identity with a healthy feed, with healthy values. Once a person understands who they are internally, uniquely to themselves, and what the externals are, the lavushim that they put on, then a person could easily, it's very doable, it's very bite-sized to understand that those factors don't actually identify us, and we can remove those external identities and focus on our true identity with healthy values, with mitzvahs asay, with positive commandments, positive things. And for more on that, my wife actually has a course. I'm gonna link it in the bottom, a link to her page or a link to her course. And I'm also having a course she has for women, I have for men. I have a few different tracks, single men, men looking to find themselves in the workforce, etc. Find the link, find the course, sign up. It's going to be life-altering. You're never going to understand yourself in the same way. You're going to be, a weight will be lifted off of you. You're going to understand yourself in such a clear sense. It's going to be very hard for a person to attack you for who you are, because you're going to understand, I'm not that. I'm something much deeper that you can't even grasp. It's very hard to put everything into words over here, but sign up for the course. It's worth it. Have a wonderful Shabbos, and thank you. Shkoyach.